All right, how'd you do with the homework helper on converting? Normally, if we were in class, there'd be a couple things that we would highlight, like number 1 and number 3. Did you fix them? They have a negative x value, so I either have to add 180 to get 135, or you could choose to make the r value the opposite and stick with the original negative 45. And it's the same for number 3. Number 4. Number 4. Boy, I sure hope you didn't say that there was no angle. But if you did, I'm not going to know. Because where's the 0.03? Well, it's right there. Well, if there's a point there, then there's got to be an angle there. And that's why the answer is 90 degrees, silly. Did you remember the notes you took yesterday? It said for x is greater than 0 and x is less than 0, but it didn't say if x was equal to 0. If x is equal to 0, you got to think a little bit about the angle. And so we just think and we realize, oh my gosh, the angle would have to be 90. All right, what else as far as the answers that you see on this homework helper? Sometimes another one that is common to talk about is number 15. Now, it turns out that number 15 is the same as the problem that I did in the notes, but depending on what class you're in, I actually made a little mistake. So since theta equals 240, we end up, again, with a line, and that line conveniently has a slope that's related to this 60-degree angle. Now, what we want to do is find that slope, and there's a whole bunch of ways to do that. I can find the slope by thinking about the rise, which is the same as the y value, which is the same as the sine of 60. Now, I can also think of this as the y value from a special triangle, but here's where I made a little mistake in class. This special triangle is of this value 1, 2, root 3, and so I need to think of that y value, as of that sine value as being root 3 over 2. And that is the true y value, which again is 0.866. How about the run? The run is x, right? X is going to be the cosine of 60. But I can also think of that in special triangle form as 1 over 2. And that truly is the cosine of 60, the number 0.5. So when you do the slope as rise over run, as sine over cosine, you end up with 60, you end up with the tangent of 60, which actually does come out to be 1.7, otherwise known as the square root of 3. So we got to write our answer as y equals mx plus b, y equals root 3 times x. All right, now again, there's different ways to do this, and if you're like, so what's the easiest way? Well, you can just do the tangent. When you do the tangent, you get the slope. But I would like you to realize that that comes from separately the rise and the run, which is separately sine over cosine. Anything else that you want to talk about? Oh, well, I guess you'd have to check in with me in all seriousness. If you need to, make sure that you ask. I'd be happy to answer any more questions with converting.